right, guys, this is the deal. Been really busy, got a cold and everything, and I'm probably not going to get a chance to edit any of the stuff that we've been shooting. So what T and I decided to do was basically just kind of do like a set down recap of what happened from day one getting on the plane through up into about now. It's not going to be very long, I hope, but that it could end up being long. And I hope the sound's okay because we're doing this in the room instead of outside because it's cold as bejesus out there.
I'd have been okay.
Yeah, you needed to cool down. T just got back from a business dinner.
It was a team business dinner.
A team building dinner, and they just kept handing her alcoholic beverages, so that's why she's all red in the face and flushed.
Ooh, hot as can be.
Because of that. So when we got ready to get on the plane the first time, everything seemed okay and was good, except for when I got to be examined, where you put everything on the conveyor and get it going and get through it and everything. Of course, I have trouble, right, in security, so the TSA agents and stuff, they did not have since I have to wear a back brace and T has to wear a TENS unit and carry all of her gear with her and stuff because of her disabilities and health problems.
A lot of medications.
Yeah, and stuff. So they took her off to the side and they were going through the whole, well, we might have to cavity search thing. Anyway, then they were trying to work on me and they could not get a male pat-down guy to come and pat me down. Well, if you know anything about me, I don't care. It's all been tried, so there's nothing new. And they had me standing up for 20 minutes. And no lie, 20 minutes. I said, listen, I cannot stand in one position this long. I have to move or do this or do that. And I couldn't. I said, well, I'll just take my clothes off. And nobody said anything. And I started to take my clothes off. So I was down to my waist by the time they said, well, here, and they grabbed one of the little tissues and swabbed me all down all over and inside and out and ran it through the machine, and I passed. Dig that.
Yeah.
No explosive, no nothing, whatever and stuff, so I passed. And then we got on through, got all back together.
Yeah, and this was the first time, I always have a lady, and I've learned because I can't stand more than a minute. And when I say a minute, it is a minute. And they think when you say a minute, it's much longer.
Yeah, however long they want.
However long they want. So I can walk through the body scanner, but they would just have to, it doesn't even have to be my scooter. It could be a seat right afterwards. They hand you a cane and think the cane will help you. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, and when you have no joints in your no bone in your ankle, no joints in your knees, and it's bone on bone. Yeah. And with all the other problems.
Yeah,
anyway, this whole thing is not to complain. It's just
no.
It's just to recap what we went through to get to here so far.
Absolutely, but she was very deeper and more thorough than anybody had ever been. I mean, she searched me in spots.
Did she buy you dinner?
No, she didn't buy me dinner. and I do understand, and I do want us to be safe, so I didn't complain about it. I like the people that can do the body search and explain everything to you, but still be civil about it, because you're a human being.
They were relatively good. It's just they could not get the person to do the job that was supposed to do the job to come do the job. They were someplace else.
Yeah.
So
mine wasn't that way. Mine, she was there.
Yeah.
But she really went deep in everything.
Yeah. So we get all through that. So we get through that, and we go to the gate, and come to find out it was a little behind. A little behind. So we went through, we packed the scooters up. I said goodbye to my scooter. I didn't expect it to see it in one piece whatsoever. We put T's brand new out of the box scooter in.
It's a little harder to put it in that new case.
And put it in there and got it all set up, whatever, and got them marked, and they're all labeled, and all the proper paperwork and everything's on it. Told the people, got the proper tags on it. They set that up. They were really nice. We got them to get ready on the plane. We got into the plane, and then the plane was under another delay. But as we were getting in, T and I were sitting farther up front, in front of the wings.
Row two.
Row two. So we were sitting there, and then they were boarding the plane, and people were coming on, and then two other large ladies, mother and daughter, got on. Very nice people, just stating the fact.
Yeah, no.
Got on, and as they walked by, T leaned out and said, they're probably going to
move one of us.
because of our weights. And
Right, because she was right behind me.
I know, and she giggled it off, but I know she wasn't very pleased. She didn't want to be pointed out. And we're really blunt. We are. It's the way it is and stuff. What we see, what we know, and T flies all the time. Well, lo and behold, as we were heating up the engines and they had boarded, the pilot comes over the PA and says,
He says, we have a little issue here. We need to move some things around.
with the weight
With the-
distribution
yes, weight
of the
distribution.
airplane.
And he said, we're going to have to get 2 volunteers from row 2 to move somewhere else on the plane.
Well, up front to move somewhere else on the plane.
Yeah.
Immediately, T starts to giggle, and the lady behind us gasped. And I turned around and looked at her, and I said, "She flies a lot. She knows what she knows." And so instead, we thought they were going to move us or split us up or put us from side to side. But what they did is they got volunteers across the row from us, 2
Yeah.
older people
Yeah.
that did not weigh anything, and they
No.
moved them to completely to the back of the plane.
Probably 220 pounds, both of them together.
To even out the weight. They had too much nose weight, and they cannot fly that long distance with too much nose weight. Burns
Yeah.
up too much fuel, and they have to
'Cause-
fight the plane too much.
Because we were going from Dayton to Minneapolis. Yes.
So they can fly with more tail weight because then it doesn't take as much energy, and they don't have to fight the plane. So we got that taken care of. We taxied out onto the tarmac in the staging lane, just getting ready to pull and take off, and they start to power down. They said there will be another 20 minute or so delay. That 20-minute delay ended up being 2 hours altogether by the time we
Yeah.
got to the next airport.
It was quite a bit. I don't remember.
So the flight,
Exactly.
the flight on the first small, it was a puddle jumper. It only had 4 seats completely across, 2 on each side, and we were squeezed in it. If you've ever seen a container of Peeps, the little marshmallow Peeps that you get for Easter, and you see them and you go to take them out of the container and how they're fused almost into one. That was me and
Absolutely,
T.
yeah.
We were fused. The sweat, the putridness, the heat buildup, the vibration and friction by the time we got there. The flight was relatively good. That's the smallest plane that I've ever been on. It did have a lot of turbulence, but nothing severe, not like the big plane when we went out to Nevada. So we get there, we land, we disembark. We get off. We take longer than everybody else. I expected to just find a bag, if I found anything, just a bag full of broken parts.
Yeah.
There was minimal scuffing to the bags whatsoever,
at all.
and everything else was fine.
But-
there was
yeah.
nothing wrong with them on the first stage of the flight.
But I do believe that
But T knew one of the girls that actually loaded
one of the
stuff
baggage handlers,
into
I
the
knew
plane.
she'd come done some work
She
for
used
me.
to
And
do some contracting
Yeah.
work for T and stuff like that. So she knew her. We met her there, and she said that she'd take care of it, and she obviously
Yeah,
did
she
because
did.
they were handled properly.
not a thing was wrong with them
So
at
then
all.
we had a 2.5 hour layover
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
before the next flight. So we did some shopping, looked around, got a couple of noshes on, so we got something to eat and drink,
Yeah.
got prepared for the next one, set up everything for the next stage of the flight, got the bags ready, got them marked, and as we were waiting, the plane landed, and a very exuberant young man comes
Vibrant.
out.
He had such a vibrant
Yeah,
personality.
he was, I don't want to say flaming, I just want to say
It was nice.
happy. He was a very
He was-
happy
Victor
individual.
was wonderful.
His name was Victor, and he was absolutely marvelous.
Fantastic.
He came right out, got right on the PA. He was the head attendant for that flight. And he said, "We are fabulous because we are from Tie York," and he was fabulous.
Yeah.
And he got us all loaded.
Yeah, he had one of the new Delta outfits
Right.
on.
And-
So the pink,
Yeah,
pink tie.
pink tie, pink
Yeah.
everything. And he said that we are way behind, but we can make this time up if you listen to me. We can work together and we can get. He took control of 300 people.
I don't know how many people were in that
It was
because they
a-
were all standing around.
It was a huge plane, so
Yeah.
I don't know how many people were
and
on
when
it.
he got done with his little speech, people were cheering.
Yeah, when he was done, and he got us on in an orderly manner, got us all seated in an orderly manner. We were 3 deep on that one. We were
It's 14.
but we were the one row back from
Comfort class.
Comfort class. We were 4 rows back from first class. We were in the first row of the cheap seats.
Yes,
Basically.
coach, yeah.
So we were in the first seat, but we could see the promised land from where we were settled. We could see
Yeah.
the drinks and the free peanuts and everything, and all of the free headphones
And the food. They had food.
Oh, they had nice food and order stuff. So they had their caviar, and we ate our little saltine crackers that they handed out.
Yeah, there was the cookies.
The ginger cookies,
ginger
they were really
cookies,
good.
yeah.
So we went through that. We sat next to T
Jose?
was on the aisle. No,
Jesus.
Jesus, Jesus.
Oh,
So T was on the aisle. I was in the middle, and Jesus was on the window seat. Very nice Hispanic kid. It was
Young
really
guy.
good. Yeah, he was very young. Making a flight, going out to pick up a truck out here in Washington.
one-way flight.
And one-way flight,
To
and
Washington.
drive the truck back to Utah, and he got on in Minneapolis.
Yeah, there was something.
Ah,
There was something.
ah,
I just said something.
ah. So anyway, that was an interesting conversation, but he was a great kid. I really
Great
liked
kid.
him and
Great
stuff
kid.
like that. So we go through this flight. It had some turbulence. We watched a movie. We got there. We were a little cramped. It was a longer that from Dayton to Minneapolis was X, and then from Minneapolis to out here was XYZ. We got out here and got
Wait a
off.
second. I want to tell my Victor story.
Oh, you go ahead. Tell your Victor.
Yes. So I had heard earlier that Delta had the new outfits and that there was a dress that was a pink dress that's a little different than the purple dresses, and it's a breast cancer awareness dress. So with his beautiful, I mean, it was bright, vibrant pink, but it wasn't fuchsia. It was pink. And then his tie, and then his napkin, his kerchief or whatever in his pocket was pink. And I came up and when he walked by was, I said, "Is that the new outfit or the new tie for the breast cancer awareness?" He said, "No, it's my everyday wear." He said, "It's fabulous. Feel me." And I ran my finger up and down his tie, and I was like, "Ooh."
He was fabulous.
He was fabulous.
He
He was
enjoyed being
wonderful.
fabulous, and more power to you, Victor.
He did, yeah, no, he was
at the
wonderful.
end of the flight, before we disembarked, he said, "Hi, I'm la la la. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please say so. My name is Victor. If you did not enjoy the flight, my name is Connie." Connie was the second in command, and she gasped out, and everybody laughed. He had the entire plane
Rolling, yeah.
We got off in an orderly manner, got out, went to go get the mobility scooters, and T's bag had been crushed in, but no damage was done to hers.
Thank goodness.
Mine had looked like they had caught it in a conveyor system
Yeah.
and just let it run and burn. It burned through the belting strap, the seatbelt material.
Completely through.
Belting strap, it burned completely through it, melted completely through it, and melted the zipper to where the zipper no longer closed and secure the device in the bag.
Yeah, we had to fight with it to get it
We had to fight with it to get it open and to get it down get down to the baggage claims, which we were late getting there because of all the things we were going through. And then after to go to baggage claim, we had to go and get, because they had already taken them over because that was all over and the next flight was coming in. Then we spent the next 2 hours filling out all the forms and informations for the claims. They tried to acquisition the damaged bag, and I said, "You can't take my damaged bag, because if
Not
you don't
until-
get me something else, then I cannot fly back, because I cannot get on the plane without the scooter in its container." So even if I have to duct tape it into this container, that's the only way I can get back on the plane. He goes, "Oh." He was a very nice gentleman, very young boy, very a ginger guy, but
Yeah, he was ginger.
This is the first time he'd done a claims in a long time. So we had it set up to where on Monday that we were supposed to get either a replacement or whatever, and the claims agent and so forth and so on. So we came to the hotel and basically crashed,
for a little bit.
and then we went out just to see things. And
Drove around a little bit.
yeah, we drove the vehicle around just to see where things were and different things like that. We did go out that day or the next day on the scooters.
We went
was
out
the
the
next
next
day
morning.
on the scooters to kind of peruse and reconnoiter the area and stuff and see what was out there. And this is a really nice place, and you will see all of those videos and
Really
stuff
nice
and the
place.
pictures and everything. I didn't use it or bring any of my expensive cameras because I can't afford to replace anything. So I got the neck cam, which I'm filming on now, and hopefully this is all going to turn out. And just took a lot of pictures and stuff. So, I mean, it's a beautiful place. This is marvelous. The only downside to the area that we didn't know of ahead of time was that they are doing some reclamation. They're doing some repairs to everything and revamping areas. So there is about a mile of what we wanted to
Thank you.
visit that you can't get to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's
It was
a
under
mile.
construction.
There's a mile of the Centennial Trail
That goes
you
across
can't that you can't get to.
Canadian
Well,
island.
the Canada Island
Canada
and
Island.
the other island, I can't think of what the
I
other island's name is. But those two things, you can only get to half of each one of them. And then you have to go back out onto normal roads to actually get back onto the trail. We were going to ride on the gondolas. On one of the days, we got up, got out, went to there before they even opened. We were talking to a man that was cleaning and doing whatever, and he says he can handle us, no problem. They are handicap accessible. They fold the seats up, the wheelchairs can go in, and it was 1,000-pound capacity.
Yeah, and I had called because I know it said that they were handicap accessible fully, it said. And I called and said, are they? You know, we're in scooters. Can we get in there? All those good things. And they said, yes. They reassured me. When we got there and saw it, there was a little lip in between the concrete and the gondola.
Right, between the door and whatever.
And he said they would stabilize it.
Oh, they said
and
they'd
it'd be
stabilize
okay.
it and they'd put something there and get us in. So we ran off a little bit to wait for it to finish up and stuff. When we came back, just as they were cycling the first test run to check it out every morning, and they cycled it and it went kabam!
It was horrible. I was like, at first I was like, ooh, look, the gondolas are going.
The gondolas. All right, guys, this is a test. We're outside right now on the balcony of the resort, and we're taking a break. I apologize. Last night when we were filming the overview or explanation of what's been going on and what's happened out here and stuff, just interesting stuff to us, and it may not be to you, but it's going to be posted up anyway. So this is just a test to see how the sound works with all the background noise and stuff. So I'm going to go back inside and see how this looks. Okay, so the test looked really well, so we'll go ahead and do this, all right? And yeah, I'm leaving everything in. I'm going to try and do as minimal amount of editing on everything as I can, just so I'm able to get this up. It's actually turning out to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but it is what it is. So we left off at the gondola. Boom! Heard this horrendous thing. Oh, and T is working currently, so she had to do some emergency stuff for something and taking care of the group that she's with. So this horrendous noise went off, and T's eyes got really big, and she looked over at me, and I looked at her, and I said, and she goes, I don't think that we're going to go on a gondola ride today. And I said, well, the gentleman said that it'll take 1,000 pounds. And I did some quick math and some engineering, and the stress factors on the cable, the wear and tear on the molecule bond in the wintertime as cold as it gets out here, and the age of that cable, which was only 2 years old. And I said, well, we're close to that number with when all the data, when you figure it all in, but I'll go if you want to go. I mean, you know. And she goes, no. And I says, well, if we both go at the same time, no laws. I mean, you know. She goes, no, not today. So we went off and we went to the carousel and saw that and everything. We watched people from 2 years old to 85, 90-year-olds on this carousel. That's a cool thing about being out here is you see age groups from real small children with the families and stuff like that up to 80-plus-year-old people out on the Centennial Trail. It's a wonderful draw. It's kept very clean, relatively, speaking as far as it is. You have, and I hate to call them homeless because I don't believe they are. I think they've just chosen to really downsize. The majority of them are younger individuals. You do have a few people wandering around speaking to Jesus, or someone, or a group of someones, but it's pretty normal for a lot of places where I've been, but it's pretty cool. We did have one thing happen. We were driving down one of the streets later at night to see and scope out some of the places that we would like to see, and saw a gentleman, kind of a little scruffy, like this, walking down the street with his pants halfway down to his knees, and a very long, looked like a fillet knife, a very long fillet knife on his side. And I mentioned to Tree, I said, I'm amazed that they let him walk around like that, just with a, brandishing. Basically, it's on his side, strapped on his side. And the next morning we get up and there was a report of a stabbing on the exact same street that we saw this gentleman on. So I guess they probably shouldn't have let him carry it around, but that was one of the things. We didn't ride the gondola. We went to the carousel and watched that. We watched people reach for the brass rings. That was so enjoyable for me because as a kid I can remember going to Columbus, to the zoos there in the late 50s, early 60s, and seeing the carousel and the people reach for the brass ring and stuff, and they had that here. Most places don't do it because of safety issues and things like that. The thing here about having no stop signs at the majority of the intersections, they rely on the goodwill and safety and looking out for each other. I said, I'm from Ohio. You step off the curb or you pull up to some place that doesn't have a stop sign and you're on a through street, you're taking your life in your hands. The guardrails, very few guardrails and stuff. On the Centennial Trail with a 1,000-foot drop, people are biking and on those little electric scooters and walking, and there's no guardrail. You'll see that in some of the videos and stuff. There's no guardrail. The explanation to the stop sign thing and the no guardrail thing is it's Spokane. That was their answer to everything. It's Spokane. Like, that fixed a safety issue. I kind of thought in my head that it's Spokane. We got enough people. If we lose them, it's okay. So, that really freaked T out when she was on her scooter getting close to a 1,000-foot drop straight into the river and off the falls. So those are some of the things that we've done so far that we saw. A lot of people from other places, really nice. I spoke to a lot of German individuals, people from Poland, Ukraine places, nice older people. All the people from Germany will walk right up to you and say, hi, my name's Hans or Greta, and we're from Germany. Like, I live here. But I said, hi, my name's Don. They call me Gopher, and I'm from Ohio. They go, really? Where's Ohio? And I go, well, you make a left at the armpit of the world, and you'll end up in either Cleveland, Youngstown, or Dayton. But, another phrase, we actually met some people from Dayton out here, and the phrase there is, Dayton's a nice place to live if you've never been anyplace else. So there you go. The anything else that would happen and stuff, we still got a couple more days out here. T has to pretty much primarily be on call and or working in training seminars and scenarios for the rest of the time. We went to the mill, the bread mill, the flour factory and stuff. We want to go back. They had a lot of crystals and a lot of skulls and different things, and we didn't get to see all of that because we got there late. We still may not be able to get to it because almost everything out here opens at 11 and closes at 5. So there's not a whole lot of time that we can, because we can't wait around to 11 because she's working, and by the time 5 she gets off and stuff, and the time we get there we can't do anything. So the vehicle that we got, it's a Chrysler Pacifica, one of the van type deals and stuff, pretty much fully electronic. It has a rectal probe that you plug in so that it can tell you what to do. And if anybody knows me, and all you guys out there, I hate the whole idea of automated cars and automated driving, whatever. This thing has no keys. You have the fob, and you have to push the buttons, and then it's all computer dash control, and it has a knob to reverse and drive and all that. I hate it. I hate it. I like the vehicle. It's pretty cool, but I hate all this control thing. If you're driving it and it thinks that you're too close on either side, it will self-correct and center you back away from vehicles. So if I'm going around someone that started to pull out and I'm going out around them, it will try and slow the vehicle down so that I don't hit anything. I'm driving here, leave me alone, machine. And it will, if it thinks that I'm too close, has these big sensors on each side. If it thinks I'm too close to either side, it will center me back out into the lanes or wherever I want to go. Leave me alone, I'm trying to drive. It also will kill cylinders on the motor to help with economy, which kills the power, and basically if you go down a hill, it shuts the motor off. You stop at a stop sign, it shuts the motor off. When you first go to take off, it starts on 2 cylinders. You have absolute no acceleration, no power, no nothing to get yourself out of any type of emergency situation. And then it will go back onto the 6 cylinders and go on from there. The autopilot control panel, like an F-11 fighter jet, is listening to you all the time. And if we are talking, anything we mention in the cab, even though we have not synced it with any of our cell phones, anything we mention in the cab will pop up on the display screen. If we mention we want to go to a certain address, it pops up on the display screen. If we mention something about seeing something later, it pops up on the display screen and plots the coordinates for us, and it's always telling me that I'm going the wrong way. No, we were talking about that. I didn't say I wanted to go there. We tried turning it off, it turns itself right back on. So, automation. We aren't smart enough or capable enough to think for ourselves and make our own decisions. Chip implant time, folks. But so I'm going to get on, we're going to try and get this posted up. It's been a really good time. I have really missed not being able to communicate so much with the group, my group on YouTube and all my friends and everything. The network here is geared for businesses, so you have pretty much 50 upload and 50 download, unless you're trying to do things on YouTube or Facebook's okay, but if you go to do stuff on YouTube, it throttles you back to about 10 up, 10 down, which is still fine. I can still get stuff done. But so the service here, the IP service here, is monitoring and throttling different places. Businesses, it's letting go away. So all of the business people that are here and stuff, suggestion was to run everything through a VPN because they're monitoring, they're watching. So we'll see what goes on. Hey, we're going to get going. She has a full day. I'm going to go out and take some more pictures. There's still a lot of stills that I want to take of different things. A lot of artwork, a lot of history stuff. Really big geek for that, as everyone will know. I may not drive too far because I think it's 37 miles. We're kind of in the center of it. And, of course, we're right in the center part where the construction's going on. So I can't really go from here on my scooter to where I want to go either way because there's constructions. We're kind of blocked in. We didn't know that until we got here, and it'll be next year before they get it all done, but I would love to come back again then. I like the area. The people are fine. Like I said, a lot of people living under the bridges and stuff like that, but I don't believe they're homeless. I think that it's a choice, and they've downsized to that. So many people out here are just living, and which is cool. Doesn't seem like they have a tremendous amount of regulations against it. I've seen 3 officers since I've been here. Pretty cool, which is probably good for me. So I don't know. I think this might be how Portugal is. How do you think, Miguel? Anyway, guys, I'm going to get going. I've been blabbing enough, but that's the update. That's what's going on. I'm going to link this with the other portion that we tried to do last night. And I miss everybody. See ya!
Y'all come back now. Here.